Welcome to the HGTV Urban Oasis 2023 in the charming, classic southern town of Louisville, Kentucky. I've had so much fun infusing this house with southern charm, so let's go take a look. Just inside the front door is the main living area, and the biggest thing about this is the color palette. I wanted the house to have an overall very warm feeling, and that's why you see all these different shades of mustard yellow mixed with the burnt sienna like you see on these 2 3-seater sofas directly across from one another. I also brought in a lot of warmth using brass. This built-in was not original. I made that to look like a built-in that would have been here when the house was built in the 1920s. And then over on this side, you'll notice I've got a lot of equestrian going throughout the entire house. And the first thing you see when you open the front door is this beautiful mixed media interpretation of the Kentucky Derby. And again, the brass makes its way throughout the entire house, as you can see right here. This leads us over to the formal dining room, which is actually kind of informal based on the type of seating I used. I wanted the oranges and blues to be repeated from that room into here, but in a different manner. So you'll see the slightly tannish orange leather on these Louis style chairs makes its way around, and then it's paired with navy here on the skirted bench, and also navy on the custom drapery that we did to flank this window. This is also a pass-through space because it's the one spot in the house where the stairwell to get to the second story is located. So that's why most of the furniture is askew to this one side. This is probably the most European style kitchen I've ever done. A lot of times when you look at a traditional kitchen from Europe, you never know what century it could have been built in. That's why I went with a very classic navy on the floor to ceiling cabinetry. I went with different grays on our checkerboard tile, and I did not want to have a cabinet style island. So instead I had a custom freestanding piece of furniture that looks like an old school farm table right in the center, which is perfect for prep. I also carried all of the brass in here again with all of our fixtures and our lighting. We also are not short on storage space in this kitchen. In fact, all of these are packed with storage, but these are actually a facade to a secret hallway which divides the kitchen from 2 of the busiest bathrooms in the entire house. The secret door brings us down the hallway, and then you find this really fun and playful powder room. And then right in here, separated by a pocket door, is the primary bathroom. The walls are covered in a very classic menswear inspired wall covering made of vinyl, so it's easily washable. Right over here, we have a huge black and white print of a horse, another ode to the Kentucky Derby. And then on each side of the French doors over here, we have these beautiful vanities in a very warm shade of wood that also mix beautifully with the antique style brass that you find on the plumbing fixtures and the lighting fixtures. Another really interesting thing about the layout is on each side, symmetrically, we have a hidden walk-in shower, all white with beveled subway tile, and then hints of kind of antique looking brass fixtures. And then on this side, we have the water closet. So they're kind of tucked out of view, but they're there to be used. And this allows the eye to focus on the more decorative elements. And just this way, we have 2 different closets, a reach-in on each side, covered in a very similar shade of green that you saw on the wallpaper in there. The biggest surprise in the primary bedroom is up on the ceiling. I wanted more menswear pattern in here, so I took a wallpaper and a beautiful black and white buffalo check, also brought it down on the bed with the king-size pillows, and kept that same color scheme that you saw in the primary bathroom happening in here with different shades of black and white and forest green. The entrance to the primary bedroom is located just off the main stairwell, which brings us to the second floor. Right at the top of the stairs is the shared bathroom, and the first thing you'll notice is my nod to the equestrian lifestyle here in Kentucky, thanks to the horseshoe wallpaper. And if you look really close, the horseshoe has a really small little yellow dandelion, so I pulled that same yellow out and used it in the well of the skylight. That way there's this little element of surprise when you walk in here, and the way the yellow plays with the colors in the sky is spectacular. Just off of the bathroom is one of 2 guest bedrooms up here. I fell in love with this wallpaper online because it looked like a print that would have been made around the time this house was built, but in a much more unique color scheme. So I took the green from the leaves inside the pattern and used it on the vaults of the ceiling, and I grabbed the navy blue and used it on the beam. One other thing that mixes blues and greens in here in an architectural manner is what's covering the window, and that's called a lambrequin. That is built around the sides of the window to soften all of the hard edges. This room I love so much because it's kind of a mix between cottage and very classic Craftsman. Just off of this is a very surprising space. This is one of the rooms in the house I didn't necessarily know what to do with. It's the loft. It's not just a landing at the top of the stairs, it's a very expansive space that also leads to outdoor space as well. What I decided to do was let this be my ode to all of the super industrial spaces you find all around Louisville. So the walls are wrapped in an original graphic design that looks like architectural prints for a local distillery. Now, off of the loft, we have a room that is totally unexpected. It's more or less a third living room that we're calling the multi-purpose room. And it's so long, I couldn't just use it as a bedroom, so I decided to make one area a TV hangout with a sectional sofa, skylights right above to let in a bunch of natural light, touches of gold and yellow with the art and the light fixtures. And then on the other side of this super long room is a space for guests. We used a day bed because it could be used for sleeping, but during the day it works like a really good space to read a book, hang out, or play games with friends, since we do have a pedestal table and seating over here as well. Just off of this, we have a little bit of an ode to all of the baseball culture here in Louisville with these shadow boxes, as well as these custom-made Louisville Slugger bats in all different colors that you see throughout the house. And at the end of this hall is another guest bedroom in different shades of blue. This is like my preppy sleeping space. We went with a complementary color scheme of blue and orange. The other thing about this room that I love is how light and bright it is thanks to all the windows and the skylights. So Louisville has a lot to offer, and I think this house really sums up the lifestyle that is Louisville.